Meteorologist Tuttle here. For years, I've been recommending Ferguson Roof Systems to homeowners across Oklahoma. So when Mother Nature struck my house, it was an easy call to make. There's no one I would trust more than Ferguson Roof Systems for my home's roof. Since 1977, Ferguson has led the industry with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and lifetime warranties. Plus, they'll even deal with the insurance companies so you don't have to. So when Mother Nature strikes, make your first call to Ferguson Roof Systems.
Hey there, Meteorologist Tuttle back with you again. It is a couple minutes after 9:30 here on our Tuesday night after the big winter storm has moved through today, bringing with it some ice and snow and much colder temperatures. I'm holding right around 7 degrees in my backyard, and we have some pipes, I'm sure, all around the region struggling to keep that water liquefied for you. I know my house was included. I was in there running the sink this evening to do a little hand washing for dinner. And all of a sudden, the water started to kind of stop, get really low. I was like, oh no, come on, baby, you can do it. And then I turned on full blast. I said, come on, you got this. And after a few seconds, it started coming back through a little bit better strength and then came on in. I'm like, phew, that was a close one. So learn my lesson. I got to start trickling when I get down about 10 degrees or I'm in trouble in my house. I don't know about yours, but oof, I almost lost my water. I would have lost it for 3 days. That would have not been pretty. I'd have been pretty stinky. All right, so thanks for coming in here on all the platforms, YouTube, Instagram Live. Shout out to you guys over there. Thanks for tuning in. TikTok Live, also on Rumble and Twitter X for now. Remember, Twitter X, Elon Musk is a turd when it comes to creators. He wants you to have 5 million views. The only way to get that is clickbait farming over a very short period of time. We're only talking a couple months, and that's not going to happen. So you're not going to get any subscriber content on X as a result. I may write a letter to Twitter corporate and say, shove it, and see if they give me a special circumstance to ability to turn on subscriptions on that platform. But if they don't, it is what it is. You'll have to follow me on all the other ones. So YouTube, a lot of people go to YouTube, and of course Facebook is the king and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, it's been forever. So anyway, good you guys checking in. Hope everybody was safe. Hope you're warm. Hope you're dry. Hope you didn't slip and fall in the ice. Hope you didn't have any auto accidents. It was a zoo out there this morning as promised. Ice skating rink, auto hockey, you name it. It was not pretty across all of a good chunk of Oklahoma and surrounding states too with the snow. It was a good winter storm. All right, let's get on and see what's going on out there currently. Let me show you here my viewpoint. I've got 7.2 degrees to be exact. So my temperature is slowly dropping just little by little. And it's going to drop obviously a little bit more tonight because we still have some more cold air to kind of come in that we'll be dealing with. All right, so where was our high today? You might know. It was at midnight. So on the north side of town in Oklahoma City, around 27, 28, 26 degrees. On the south side of town, anywhere from 30 to 40, down around the time you get to Norman. Same thing for Tulsa on the cold side, but once you get down to Muskogee, just south of there, it gets up to around 40, just south to Eufaula. So that's kind of where the front was around midnight. It kind of slowly worked its way southward during the rest of the overnight period of the morning. And so any precipitation you got along that boundary ended up being frozen. All right, now here's a look at the coldest temperatures of the day, which happen, of course, coincide right now. And it's 7 degrees in Spencer, Oklahoma City, Yukon, El Reno, Kingfisher, Guthrie, Stillwater, Skiatook, Bixby, Holdenville, even down here in southeast Oklahoma. You guys are almost all the way. Idabel, Broken Bow, and Violent. You guys are just about at freezing. Hooker coming in at 0. There's Eva coming in at -1. And we have a dew point value across the state, which is our measure of dry air, when it's into the single digits or below 0. This is critical because you can get your low temperature for the night in the morning close to the dew point value. And so as you can see, we've got some very low dew point values out there right now across the state. If you look elsewhere, I want to show you real quick here across the entire country. And if you look, the center of this high is still up to our north. It's over here in Canada right now, so it's west of Winnipeg. So it's kind of just on the western sides of Manitoba. Anyway, so this is the center, and this center right here has our coldest temperatures in it of minus 24, minus 27, about minus 33 degrees. This is in Fahrenheit, by the way. This is not even Celsius. It'd be even colder if it was Celsius. Now, if we're going to zip on down, you can see the North Dakota, South Dakota. We get into Nebraska. All of those folks are down below zero. And then once you get here into Kansas, that is where the really brutal stuff is. Putting on the brakes right here for the time being, but this will continue to sag southward just a little by little tonight, and so these negative numbers will be dipping down into the Oklahoma Panhandle here soon, and then into the rest of parts of northern Oklahoma overnight tonight. Now you also see these little numbers, and let me turn this thing off, and then we'll see the snow that's still out there, and I'll put this into motion for you. So the snow is still moving out. It's taking its sweet time. So about around midnight or so, it should start to leave these last few counties here in eastern Oklahoma. Otherwise, still some light dusting of snow going down here across south central and eastern Oklahoma for right now. And these, oh, by the way, over here in Arkansas, you guys still got your little wintry mix of some ice and a little bit of freezing rain and sleet mixed in. Right around the north side of Little Rock, and then down to the south end of you toward the border, and then of course turns us back over to Arkansas, snow when you get to Memphis in that area. But it's been a mess out there for Arkansas as well. Okay, so snowfall amounts. So all of these little icons here represent measurements of snow. So this was around just over an inch here in Logan County. Enid coming around 2 inches. Oklahoma City also came around an inch officially. Once you get up here to Osage County, around 4 inches there. Our Kansas City had about 2.5 to 3. Once you get up to just north of there, Mulvane, it's around almost 8 inches of snow, and up around 6, 7, kind of varied here in Wichita. Here's some higher up around 8. Looks like the most I've seen. All right, and then get a little east of town, same thing, about 6. And then there's some ports over here near north of Coffeyville, about 6.5 inches of snow there. Once you get a little closer down here to Tulsa, on the north side, Tulsa County, your Skytook, you're looking about 5 inches, and Claremore also around 4 inches. Downtown Tulsa about 2 or so. Let's see here, Sapulpa about 1.5 inches. Broken Bow 2, and then there's another one, 1.5 inches. What about Muskogee? Little accumulation of ice on the report. Didn't give a snow report on that one. Let's see here. And then over here on the east side, 3 inches as we get closer to the Arkansas border. And same thing here, 3 inches. Miami's coming around 5. And then once you get across the border into Kansas, back to 5.5. Pittsburgh 5. Joplin coming in around 5.5. Southwestern Missouri about 5 there. Ash Grove 5. 5 seems to be a common number. A lot of 5s, close to 6 in this area. Let's see, Marshfield, yep, there's 6. On the border, about 5.5. Branson down here, 4. All right, Anderson, there's 3. And there's another 5. All right, so what about Arkansas, northwest? 3 inches there around Bella Vista. Coming in, about 4.5 there. Berryville coming in around 2.5. Springdale looks like about 4. And then Fayetteville coming in around 2.5. So there you go. There's your little round robin of snow totals that have come in so far. And that's probably not going to be all of them. And there might be just a little bit more added to it. But I will tell you, the models did fairly well, but they did not get the peak right. They had peaked out around 12 inches, so a foot of snow in the hardest hit areas. And it looks like it's going to be about almost 6 inches shy of that. So that's a pretty big bust in the model data. Otherwise, it was widespread 4, 5, and 6. So it's still a good snowstorm. It just didn't get that sweet spot that it had been looking at for the last few days, kind of in this zone right here, and just didn't quite materialize. So that was a bust on the forecast side. The rest of it, though, was good with the ice and the sleet and all that kind of stuff, and the wind and everything else. So pretty good little winter storm. Anyway, so that's what's going on right now across the region. You can see these also are temperatures, and they're falling down nice. Okay, so let's go back to the forecast maps. We pick up where we left off. So there's, of course, a little bit of wind out there. So our wind chill values are into the negative numbers. So even though our actual air temperature is on the positive side, when you factor in the wind, it's on the negative side. So Yukon feels like minus 14, El Reno minus 13, up around Buffalo and Woodward, about minus 15 out here in the Panhandle. We're close to minus 20. And so again, this colder air will continue to work its way through this state here for tonight. Okay, so as far as any watches and warnings and advisories, you still have residual winter storm warnings here in the pink area. Those will be expiring or canceled here on the west side of it here, if they're not already. And then the winter weather advisory, I think these were canceled here earlier this evening, and they're just going to kind of chip away at it as all the precipitation basically moves out. So There we go. I just updated this map here, did a little refresh, and then there we go. We're chipping away already here in this section, and we'll chip away more over the coming hours. Okay, so here's a look at the system as it's pulling away. So you can see the little wintry mix down there and across the southern parts of Arkansas. And by midnight, the snow is out of Oklahoma, and it pretty much moves our area and is gone. We don't have anything coming in after that. Looks pretty much fairly quiet around here for at least a couple of days. There's a system over the weekend, but it has been moisture starved in the data, so it looks like that's probably still going to be the case. Now we talk about the dew point values up here into Nebraska, etc. These dew point values are into the negative 30s, and that is a very impressive dry air mass, especially for this time of the year. We're in the middle of February. In other words, spring is literally around the corner. This is a very late season surge of Arctic air, and this is what true Arctic air is like. When you get dew point values that are basically in the single digits, that is where you start to get your true Arctic air. But when you get it into the negative teens and 20s and 30s, this is kind of stuff that we don't normally get to experience. They do on the other side of the globe. We don't, and now we get a taste. And temperatures as a result, let's take a look at your lows for tomorrow morning here across the Central Plains. And you do have some numbers up here into the negative 30s. These are not wind chills, these are actual air temperatures. This is pure, true Siberian air that came across the pole, hung out in Canada for a day or two, and the residual of it is now coming southward. So it hung tough this whole time, all the way down here to Oklahoma. We've got the purple again, is where the leading edge of where you get the numbers that are below freezing. On the bottom of that line, everything is above freezing, not below zero is what I meant to say. Not below freezing, it's all below freezing, but below zero is what I'm trying to say. And then south of that line, it is above zero. But the fact you can even say below zero, that's impressive. And this is all the way down to Dallas. They're down at plus 15 degrees Fahrenheit for a low tonight. Okay, so let's take a look here locally, and we should be right around the goose egg here in Oklahoma City. West side, especially El Reno, they're in the bottom area, so they'll probably be down around -1, -2 degrees. -5 in El Reno coming up tonight. Ponca City -2, Bartlesville, Tulsa right around 0. Don't ask me why Oklahoma City has a +0 and Tulsa has a -0. That's a programming error, obviously. You can't have a -0. Muskogee at 3, Callister 5. Over here in Liberal, Kansas, -3, and kind of the same thing with the rest of northwest Oklahoma. So obviously it's going to be very, very chilly. And when you factor in the wind tonight, and that's what we're going to do here for you, now it's going to gradually come down, but at least to the interim, it's still up around 20 with gusts to 30. All right, so overnight tonight, pretty gusty. So you're going to be out and about. You're going to be in trouble if you do not protect yourself and protect your skin. In the morning hours, at 8 o'clock in the morning, it is still windy. It's still up around 20 to 30 miles an hour. Now we go toward the afternoon, it should be dying down here. So here we go. Here's lunchtime. Now we're down around 20. And then by the time we head to 6 o'clock in the evening, this part of the state's looking pretty good, but the rest of the state's still on the breezy side. So a windy day for our Wednesday. Gross. I was really hoping it'd calm down faster than that. All right, it's going to stay windy through Wednesday until probably about Thursday morning, looks like. Yep, so Thursday morning it finally completely calms down over about 2/3 of the state. And that's all she wrote with that. So that's going to play a factor in our wind chill values, just so you know. So if you do look at this, wind chill values tonight will be dipping into the negative teens and negative 20s as more of that colder air moves in and those winds still stay kicked up. So let's go to, lunchtime tomorrow. Oh, matter of fact, I think I skipped right past the morning. Here we go. Yeah, so the morning is upper teens to low 20s. All right, so that means if you're going to be outdoors any length of time, it doesn't take, it's about 30 minutes on an average to get frostbite. So if you don't have protected skin, you're going to lose something. You don't want to lose something, so make sure you have everything protected. Everything, your ears, lips, face, nose, all of it. Don't leave it unprotected. All right, let's go to noontime. We're into the negative numbers, -10, -14. These are all wind chills. All right, by 6 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, even though it's still breezy, temperatures have moderated a bit, so we're about -7. -6 is what it'll feel like in Tulsa, -8 in Bartlesville. But you can see this is where it feels like below zero pretty much over most of the state for tomorrow. Even down in Dallas, it's going to feel cold with wind chill values in the single digits. I know that's a rude awakening for those folks. All right, so for on Thursday morning, we are into the negative teens again. So another cold start to the day is what it's going to feel like to you. Now, keep in mind, this is for not for inanimate objects. Wait, did I say that properly? It's not for pipes. In other words, the pipes don't care that it's a wind chill minus 14. This is a human number, just so you know. I'm not even sure even dogs apply to this because it's a bare skin transfer of heat and then a feeling that you apply to it, psychological. So that's all it is. It's just a way to try to quantify that's going to feel worse than it actually is. So it's definitely a human emotion scale. But anyway, so then pretty brutal in the morning, and then by Thursday lunchtime, we get some relief here. We're close to 0, and then by the afternoon, all but the far northern counties, it'll finally get above 0 degrees for wind chill values. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. By the way, the low, I'll show you this right quick. Where are we? So for the low on Thursday morning, let's do that one. So temperatures, actual air temperatures for Thursday morning will also be a cold one, right? So we're going to be below 0 tonight. We'll be below 0 tomorrow night as well. It's the difference is you had it, in this configuration tonight, and then you'll have it in this configuration tomorrow night. So that just says the surface high comes down, centers in, and then it kind of just gradually shifts across. And so that's why you get it where Oklahoma City basically is caught in the middle of both of them, right on the edge. So anyway, so I want to bring you up to that. And then we will be warming things up, but it's going to take some time. So I will show you the bad news if you haven't seen it already. All right, so let's see. Let's go to Friday afternoon. So here's Friday afternoon, and there will be some spots somewhere in here that's going to get just at or above freezing, barely. The rest of the state, though, is going to stay below. So if you're hoping to thaw out, it's not going to happen until Saturday. So here's Saturday lunchtime, and then here's Saturday afternoon. So if you do have your pipes freeze with water, unfortunately, you are stuck unless you can get them unfrozen. You're stuck Mother Nature-wise until Saturday afternoon. That is when they will free up, and then you get some water running back at the house. So kind of important for you. All right, well, elsewhere, for the next few days here in Oklahoma City, we'll center this 7-day or 10-day forecast for you. It is obviously going to be quite chilly, so daytime highs only into the teens for tomorrow, and then really teens most of Thursday. We'll see if we hit 21. Otherwise, remember, I think we won't quite hit above freezing here in Oklahoma City. I think we'll be just a couple degrees shy. And also, again, I think this will be a low of 0 tonight, and I think it'll be a 0 for tomorrow night. And this will probably be more like, I don't know, maybe around 30 for a high. And maybe this will be more like, 19. We're splitting hairs. Doesn't really matter. You don't care. I don't care. It's just a difference of a couple degrees. And as we head into the weekend, we'll be warming up. And it's looking pretty good here for Monday. So at least it'll be a fast warm-up. We'll get rid of the Arctic air for a while. And there will be a blowtorch across the country. So it's going to warm things up quite dramatically, which will be kind of nice to have a little bit of a difference. Almost going to give us like a false sense of spring. So just remind you that wind chill values, once they do dip here into this little shaded region of blue, that it corresponds to a frostbite time of about 30 minutes. So it's not horrible, for other parts of the country obviously are far worse than us, but hey, for Oklahoma this is pretty good. So keep in mind of that. You don't want to end up in the hospital. So by the way, we talked about the pipes. I started off the broadcast tonight telling you how I almost lost mine, my water. It was trying to freeze on me. I just happened to catch it at the right time and got it running again, but that was a close call. But if the water, obviously, it's a situation to where you need to know where your shutoff valve is. If you have a situation where you do have a water line break or something does bust in one of your pipes, and you can do a couple of things. You can leave your cabinets and vanities open to let the warmer air in the room flow in. You're going to want to turn your heater up tonight in your home. So like me, I normally have my heat down around like 65 or 64 whenever I sleep, because it's, they say it's better for you that way. However, your pipes won't like it, so I got to crank it up to about 72, and that should help to offset the cold stuff coming in from the other side of the walls, right? You want to try to heat it up as best you can, and you're going to keep the water moving throughout the pipes by allowing a small trickle rather than a drip. You got to let it run. So it is what it is. And then of course you can always get out a hair dryer, space heater if you can reach the pipe that's frozen. Just don't start any fires or anything. Okay, and then there was another graphic I had here for this stuff, and it was just this little guy right here. So open your kitchen, bathroom, allow the air to circulate around the plumbing, remove any harmful cleaners and household chemicals so the kids and the dogs don't get into it. Let's see here. And it says, this is false. It says let the water drip. We used to always say that. This needs to be updated. It says trickle. So let it trickle. I dripped, but the first time my pipes froze, and that wasn't enough. So case in point, learn from my mistake. Then here we go. Keep the thermostat set to the same temperature both during the day and night. And that'll help to offset chance of frozen stuff. Yeah, you got to pay a little more both on the water but also and on the heat. But hey, it's cheaper than paying a plumber to come out and fix a bunch of busted pipes. So, or doing it yourself, whichever. But so there's just some tips there. And then I think there was one more thing. Yeah, it was this guy right here. All right, so people, since I brought this up, you're like, well, what is the wind chill? Why do I care about it? Why do any of us care about it? Well, this is the reason for it. So it's all about your core body temperature, 98.6 degrees, right? And you emit heat off your surface of your skin through convection. All right, so there's a layer of heat between our skin and our cold surroundings. But when you get the wind that comes in, it basically blows that heat off of your skin. All right, so basically it's causing like a little mini evaporation. And once the heat is moved away from your body, then there goes your mini, teeny tiny insulated layer of air that hovers right above your skin. So if you could get a microscope and see it, this is your fingers, you'd have a little pocket of heated air just above your finger, which is like a little protection. It's the same idea of snow. Snow is like a blanket insulator. So underneath the snow, whatever it's on top of actually traps the heat within that object, that surface, the ground, the tree, whatever. So it's kind of the same principle. But anyway, so as that wind blows the heat off, then your body temperature will start to fall. So it's a deal where we give you the wind chill effect because it's both a psychological thing, but also it's a core temperature thing. You're really cooling your body down, and that's why the pipes and stuff don't care, because that's not the way those inanimate objects work. Dogs and stuff got all the fur on them, so I'm not so sure they're really affected too much by this, but the cold definitely will get them. So make sure you protect those guys. All right, I think I've covered pretty much everything to death. I always feel like a broken record. And even like I didn't do a lunchtime live today because I was like, well, you already know what's coming. You've known for a week, and the forecast hasn't changed, at least from my end, the whole time. So if you've watched me at any point in time, you already knew what was coming. You already prepared for it, and then it hit. And what are you going to do? Look outside and watch it all day long? No, I got things to do. I was getting all you guys in my groups. I had a couple hundred of you had to get in for the private Facebook group today. And the rest of you I sent either emails or messages to that I was backed up on for 3 days worth. So apologies there, but I'm only one man. It takes a while to get to everybody. But yeah, so make sure if you get a chance to sign up to any of those subscription options, you can join. If you've missed all the announcements, AT's Weather is going behind what you would call a paywall. So basically it's a subscription-based service now. So in other words, I've been giving away content for free for 15 years. I'm now transitioning over to a subscription-based format. So that includes all my blogs, my forecasts, most of my website, and my severe weather coverage, etc. So you'll need to be a paid subscriber to have access to all of that, and you can do so with all these options here, basically Facebook, Patreon, YouTube, Locals, PayPal, TikTok, Instagram. So Locals right now is basically filling the gap for Rumble, because Rumble is so behind the curve on this kind of stuff. They for whatever reason, they decided to offload, is the word I'm looking for, subscriptions where you can broadcast directly to the member to Locals rather than doing it themselves. And I yelled at them the other day for it, and they didn't care. It's like, whatever. Go away, Pipsqueak. So whatever, it is what it is, but we'll be using Locals until Rumble can get their act together. Maybe we'll just keep Locals. We'll see how it goes. But these other platforms you can watch there. Any of these will give you access to the private Facebook group. Because, for example, Patreon, they do not allow live streaming to that platform, which stinks. I've had Patreon since 2018. They don't care. They don't want to do it. So I put everybody into the private Facebook group as a result. So if you're in Patreon, if you signed up that way, send me a message and I'll get you in the private Facebook group. YouTube, you guys are double dipping. In other words, you might watch on YouTube or you might want to watch on Facebook. Spouses are free, by the way. So if you sign up, one spouse, you can just add the other spouse to the Facebook group. So that way, maybe one spouse and the kids are watching on YouTube, and the other spouse maybe is watching on Facebook, something like that. Same thing for PayPal, TikTok, Instagram. You can all watch on TikTok or Instagram, or you can also watch on the Facebook group page. Now, some of you are still in that Facebook waiting list. I have no control over that. It's a bug on Facebook side, and they'll kick the blame to the creator side. And honestly, creators don't even have access to it. So it's just a way to get you to go away. Of course it is. And I don't even have anybody to talk to at Facebook, so, whatever. But if you're on the waiting list, you can wait it out and see how long until they finally accept you, or maybe they never will. I don't know. Nobody that I know on the waiting list has gotten in and or was able to cancel it. It's just stuck in limbo land. It doesn't do anything. You're not charged, but you're just stuck there waiting, whatever that means. So a lot of people just decided they gave up and they just went to Patreon, or they did a PayPal 1-year subscription. You can do, these are all monthly, by the way, and the platform set that. I don't, but I can control Patreon, PayPal, or Venmo, and you can do a 1-year there instead of a monthly deal. So it's like $30. Each one's a little different because they set the price versus me. I just picked the lowest tier option. But a lot of people have done PayPal or Venmo as a result of that. So there's some options for you. And if you go to my website at aarontuttle.com, this is right here. It's the blog post. You just go to news, then type in, a blog. And then when you do, like the third one, it just says AT's moved to subscription based. And there's no ads on this. There should not be any ads on it. There shouldn't be anything you'd click on that's not other than what's on these links right here. So there's 7 links. Should be nice and clean for you, so it should be straightforward. There should be no confusion. Knock on wood. So if you're having some trouble or you see something weird, let me know or send me a screenshot. I know a couple of you, I think there's 2 or 3 reached out. They had some kind of malware on your device, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you bought. I don't know where you went, So I don't know. That or there was an ad that popped up somehow. I'm not sure. But this page should be ad-free. I had Google block it so that no ads came on it. Now, whether or not Google does what it promises me it's going to do, I have no idea. I actually hate Google ads. They're like half of a penny of a penny of a half penny of a half penny. I mean, it's so minute, and all they do is flood your website with garbage, and I can't stand it. But when you have to bring in some kind of revenue to offset the expense of running a web server that can handle 100,000 people hitting it all at once, you got to pay big money. So they're there to help offset that cost. But that's a little back end story of when you're kind of doing this kind of stuff. So I will be turning those ads off on the website, by the way, once all this is done. My cutoff is going to be about March 1st because severe weather season is March 15th is what we kind of shoot for here across Oklahoma. Can it come a little earlier? Sure. Can it come a little later? Sure. But on average, it's right around that date of the month. It's just like clockwork. For whatever reason, that seems to be the happy spot. So I want to get all this stuff done prior to the kickoff of that, so that because once that happens, my available time that I do have to do any of this kind of stuff drops quite dramatically. So that's why I'm wanting to get you in now, so that you're not sitting there waiting and you're going, oh no, Aaron's going live on tornadoes going through Oklahoma City, and I got to sit here and watch, the Yahoo on channel XYZ scare the crap out of me. And I'm telling you, get in before that happens. You don't want to be in that position. Don't put yourself in that position, especially if you suffer from PTSD, storm anxiety, stress, etc. Remember, calm, cool heads prevail, and that's a non-traumatic response, and your kids will pick up on that. So that means your kids will be safe, they'll be sane, they won't be picking up any drama to carry down for them as they go into adulthood and they pass on to their kids. So we're gonna cut the cycle. We're gonna break this thing. You don't always get a chance to break trauma, and unfortunately from generation to generation, but this, I can help you break it so that it doesn't get propagated to the next in line. And I can put everybody's mind at ease. So join with me on this next journey. If you're so inclined, I appreciate it. If you're not, and you says, hey, sorry, I can't afford to give you the price of a burger, fries, and a shake once a year. If you can't do that, and you're being honest about it, then yeah, don't feel bad. some people are in that situation. I went out to eat the other night, and that's what it's like 20 plus the tip is like in tax. It was like 24, 25 bucks. I was like, good grief, man! Like, when did this start happening? But anyway, so that's all it costs for me for the whole year, and you've got me to save your life and get you through the storm seasons and all the forecasts for the winter weather, all that kind of stuff. So if I'm valuable to you in that regard, join one of those memberships and hang with us. It'll be a nice, closer knit community, a little bit better one-on-one reaction and interaction that I'll be able to have with you versus when I'm trying to, talk to 200,000 people at once across various platforms. It's just really hard to do. Just too many people, to be honest with you, for just one person to try to handle. It's much easier when it's a smaller group. So I'm all for it. Brings back more of an intimate feel anyway. So it'll be good. It'll be a good symbiotic relationship where I help you and you help me, and that makes us both healthy. And so healthy relationships are the ones that last, not the dysfunctional ones. So if you're a taker and all you do is take and you never get back, then me going forward is not going to be for you, because we need to be reciprocal from this point forward. So if you can give back, hey, it's going to work out just great. So we'll give each other, and that's how it'll go going forward. So thanks for joining me here for tonight. I appreciate your input, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It may take me a while to get caught up to you. I get to everybody at some point. I work as fast as I can, and Jody helps me out whenever she can as well. But otherwise, just a reminder to keep your water running tonight, and keep your heater on, and hopefully you get to keep your water for the next few days, and then we'll get past this little cold spell, and then spring's just around the corner. All right, stay safe. Be careful in the morning. Still going to be some ice on the roadways. It's not going to melt, so whatever's out there now will still be there, more than likely in most of those areas. I know the crews will work the streets, but side streets, neighborhoods, everything else getting out to those main streets that are worked are still going to be slippery, as slick as snot, as they say, and so that's going to cause some problems in the morning. So take it easy. Might want to give yourself some extra time to get to work if you are required to be there by a certain time. You might have to leave 30 minutes early. I know I got to go to work tomorrow, so I don't know. We'll see. I might sleep in and say heck with it. I don't know. I'll play it by ear whenever I get up in the morning. Okay, well, you guys be safe regardless. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.